Oh my goodness, that is so big.
If there's a fish that swims, I need to catch it. Freshwater, saltwater, from a boat, from a kayak, or from 4 inches of ice. I thrive off the new experiences fishing gives me. I'm an ex-fishing guide turned videographer, calling Lake of the Woods, Ontario my home. I'm Jay Siemens, and this is the Canadian Angle.
Welcome to Lake of the Woods. It's an ocean behind me. We are all geared up. We're ready to conquer the big pike of Lake of the Woods, and I have a very, very special co-host today. My father, the man that raised me, the man that you taught me a bit about fishing. A little bit.
About that much.
We are putting Dad on a big pike. At least that's the goal. We're headed out to a couple main lake reefs, and we're gonna be soaking some big baits for some big fish. Here we go. All right, so we've came into our first obstacle or first hurdle of the journey, and it's really not too bad. This can get way, way worse, but this ridge right along here, that's called the pressure ridge. How the Earth's tectonic plates pull and push, that's the same thing the ice is doing. So it's actually pushing together and it creates these ridges. And this is a pretty small one, they get massive. But the thing you gotta remember is plates will push together, the sheets of ice, but they'll also pull apart. So we might cross it right now, and crossing it later in the day, it could have pulled apart, or it could be open water in the middle. Sometimes it'll pull apart and then it'll freeze just to skim. So right now, this is a pretty minimal ridge. We're in the snow machine. I'm not too worried. If I was driving a truck, I'd probably drill a couple holes just to be sure to find a perfect crossing spot. With a sled, we have a little more flexibility to cross over this ridge, but just one of the obstacles that can even cause dangerous ice in the middle of winter. So anyways, not too bad right now. We'll get across, and we're gonna get fishing by the crack of noon. How was the ride?
Not bad. That sled, that's the first time you've had me out on that thing.
It's pretty smooth.
Pretty smooth, yeah.
This thing's kind of a tank, and I like all the capability of carrying stuff, because if you ever put gear in the back there, it's probably gonna get yard sailed, it's gonna get destroyed. So I try to keep all the valuable, all the important stuff on here. We're kind of out in the middle of nowhere right now. There are a couple other shacks. They know our secret spot. This isn't a very secret spot at all, but we're fishing a big main lake reef. It's filled with walleyes, perch, giant burbot. What's been your goal for a while?
I've been fishing in Manitoba for about 42 years, and I have yet to get the elusive Master Northern.
Master Angler. So Master Angler in Manitoba is 41 inches. That's their trophy program. So Dad's caught 40-inch pike, but he's not cracked 41. So one of the best ways to target big pike is soaking big baits. We're gonna show you the gear, but first off, we're gonna drill some holes. We're gonna get set up. We'll run through all of that stuff, but the best thing you can do is just soak your baits as long as possible. And we'll show you what you're doing later. All right, so in the world of augers, probably the most typical is the 8-inch, but today we're using a 10-inch because we are targeting big fish, and the toughest part is getting their head up the hole. So for big pike, big lake trout, really big walleyes, I like a 10-inch auger. Okay, so we're in 12, I like that. It kind of comes up to 7-8 feet on top. With tip ups, what we're gonna be using, I just wanna spread them out. There's no reason having them all close together. So we're gonna spread them out anywhere from kind of 7 feet down to probably like 17, 18 feet along this ledge. We've got a variety of baits, but these little Cisco's should be pretty good. All right, I'm gonna talk more about the rigging and all that, but we're gonna start just getting baits down. We got 4 lines to set.
While I wouldn't have called my dad the most hardcore angler in our earlier fishing days, I definitely would call him the most supportive dad and fishing partner I could have ever hoped for. I'd come up with a crazy new destination for a fishing trip, and he was ready to take me there at 5 a.m. rain or shine. I cherish our fishing trips together, and he is someone I am very okay with getting outfished by.
Well, you guys have seen me use these devices called jaw jackers, which automatically set the hook, but in a situation like this, using one of these big baits, that's not what you want. I want something that can free spool a little bit and let that pike take the bait. If you've seen underwater footage of pike eating baits, they'll sometimes grab it and then reposition in their mouth. If you were to just automatically set the hook as soon as they grab it, you probably wouldn't hook up with that fish nicely. So this, you're not letting the fish run with it for minutes. You're letting that fish take it for 15 to, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Was that a fish? I thought a fish just hit it right there. It could have been the wind that tripped it. That was a good surprise. No, there's a fish. A fish just grabbed it. So sometimes they'll sit, and like I said, they'll reposition the bait. That could not have been better timing. So basically, Dad, you don't want to hit the fish. You don't want to set the hook when he's just sitting still. You want to wait till he's moving, because then you're likely to set the hooks into the back of his mouth. If he's sitting still and you pull it, he might be pointed towards the hole and you can pull it out. This is a good start. Oh, he just made a little head shake. Starting to pick up speed. Okay, get ready. Yeah, I'd say hit him. Close it. Reel till it's tight. Kill pre-run. Oh yeah, Dad's on. First fish, I'm calling burbot based on the head shakes. I'm thinking it's a big Lake of the Woods burbot, but we don't know. Take your time, just slow. Oh, that's a pike, that's a nice pike. Right at the bottom of the hole, okay. Okay, don't put any more pressure. We're just gonna let him stop right there. We're gonna let him thrash a little bit. Right now, I don't wanna put my hands in there because I would probably get a hook in the hand. Look at that. That took all of, well, we only got one line set, so that is a very good start. You can see, even with a smaller, medium-sized fish like this, that bait is no problem. We're gonna keep this pike. All right, so that's a 28-inch pike. That's about perfect eating size. I wouldn't want to eat any bigger, but I promised Dad I was gonna cook him some pike on this trip, and pike are greatly underrated for eating. So this is good to get this one out of the way because it can be tough catching eaters here. So anyways, this is gonna be dinner tonight. Well, that was pretty good timing.
Yeah, that was good.
All right, so one flag we got down. We got a flag in about 45 seconds. As I was saying, it is nice to let that fish position the bait in its mouth, and that's why this device, the iFish Pro, is so good, because you keep your bail open on your reel and it free spools. There's two pieces on my line right here. There's a little piece of yarn. This could be a bobber stop. This is just a piece of like Dacron I tied on. And then you have this red loop. So basically, you slide that piece of yarn wherever you want to set your depth at. So if you wanted to foot off the bottom in 10 feet of water, then you'd set that little piece of line at 9 feet, right? All right, so one hook I like to put in the middle, so it kind of sits close to horizontal or a little bit in the front. The other one, you can put them in the tail, you can put them in the head section. Everyone's kind of got their own preference. I've definitely seen a lot of pike strike in the head section first. Basically, the most important part is you want to make sure those hooks can tear free when you set the hook. So right there, I kind of like how that's hanging. If it's not going to sink properly, what I'll do is, like with the air bladder, I'll just take a scissor or a knife and I'll just pop a couple holes in their stomach, and then sometimes you'll even have to squish the bubbles out in the hole. Right now this one doesn't have much air, so it should sink quite easily. All right, so that little piece of yarn, I'm gonna now hook that loop, a little red piece of plastic just underneath here. There's different ways. I've heard different ways of people setting these up, but now it gets hooked in the loop. And then when that fish pulls down, when he pulls it, flag up, and there you go. But the most important thing is to make sure you keep your bail open over here so that fish can free spool if he needs to. All right, we got 4 flags in, just like that. Probably took us an hour. Oh, flag, 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 flag. We got a flag, we got a flag. We just finished the 4th one. Oh, baby, it's a good day. Yeah, there's a fish there. Oh yeah, this fish is moving. Yeah, hit him. Nice. That's a bigger one. Okay, kneel down beside me. Take your time. This is a bigger fish. We're getting our tools ready.
I'm past the leader here.
Okay. Ooh, that's a nicer one. Yeah, that's a bigger one. All right, that's a nice one. Just keep it taut, just keep it taut. Not too much pressure. That is a fatty. Nice.
All right.
That is definitely bigger than the last one. Dad, get in here.
All right.
Number 2. This is good. This is good. We've had 2 flags. We just got our 4th one set. And what I was going to mention is having your release tools ready close by is so important. It's not crazy cold outside, but it's cold enough that you can freeze these fish if you're not careful. So always having a long pair of pliers or hookouts. Keep them in the water as much as we can. Turn them around, and that was probably like a 32, 33. There she goes. Good job. Number 2. That was exciting.
Yeah.
As we were coming back. Well, as nice as it is outside, we're gonna take advantage of the shack and the heater. We'll actually have the one tip up right in front, inside of the shack, which will be pretty hilarious if that's one that keeps going off. They won't even have to leave. Yeah, the day's just begun. It's probably 12:30 now. What time?
Yeah, it's after 12:30.
Yeah, 12:30. So we still got lots of time. Got one for dinner, one upgrade, and there's some giants that live around here. Gotta take care of my dad, he's getting old.
Is it going already?
Oh yeah.
I'm just smelling gas. Am I gonna die?
Maybe.
Oh, nice.
Well, we've come a long ways from driving the minivan out on the ice and
Yeah.
jigging random spots. Probably like one of our first major ice fishing trips was actually not too far from here on the American part in Warroad. Do you remember that? When we went to that fishing derby?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were like giving results over the radio. But yeah, it was out of Warroad, and there was this ice fishing derby, and it was like minus 36. Everyone was in shacks. And there we come, driving from Altona in our minivan, drive out on the ice roads, had no idea what we were doing. I don't think we got a single bite.
No, we were hidden, tucked in behind the minivan to stay warm.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We might get only 2 more flakes today. We might only get 1 more. We might only get 1 flake in the next 2 days, but it's like when you're fishing with big baits, you just eliminate smaller fish.
Yeah.
You can get pike jigging for walleye, but if you want to truly target a giant pike, they want big meals. Yeah, I've said this all the time, but I would rather have 2 tip-ups with big baits than 1 bait and 1 jigging. You know?
Oh yeah.
Two tip-ups, that's just your best chance. Oh! Jeez. That scared me. Did something actually bite it? Oh yeah, there's something there. That scared me so bad. I was convinced I'd hit it or something. This is the hot flag right here. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, wait till it's moving a bit.
Set it?
Yep.
Oh yeah. That feels a bit better.
Oh. Ooh. Is he off?
Shoot.
Keep reeling, keep reeling, keep reeling. He's swimming towards you. Swimming towards you.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still there.
Okay, when he gets to the hole, I just want to make, like, you need to make sure not to jack his head out, right?
Yeah.
So just take your time, because he's close now.
It's close here.
Just gentle, just gentle. Oh yeah, that's bigger. Each one's getting slightly bigger. Okay, just slow. Nice.
All right.
We are off to a good start. This is more numbers than I expected. All right, we're gonna turn her back down. There she goes. Number 3.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
That scared me so much when that went off. Well, I just wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
After a while, you're just chilling, hanging out. There's a flag. Which one popped?
The west one.
Okay, let's go, let's go.
Do we need tools?
Yeah, let's bring the bump board and the tools. Let's go. Piker snapping. Oh.
You still there?
Yeah, it's moving. It's still really off to the side. It's tough to tell because sometimes they're slowly moving towards me. Right now, I'd say there's a fish on there. Maybe not. No, I think it dropped it. Well, that was a hit and run. Makes me think that may have been a smaller fish. We'll drop back down. We didn't sting it, so it could still be sitting down there. I've seen before where you'll get no flags for 2-3 hours, and then all of a sudden, like 3 out of 4 flags go up at once. Like, it's crazy. There's nothing really like tip-up fishing that showcases a feeding window. Like, you can just tell when they're on, it's just, yeah, there's no denying it. I've heard different things on where to set the bait. Some people say, you know, halfway up. Some people like to lay it right on the bottom. I've definitely seen pike eat baits off the bottom, like if your tip-up accidentally gets tripped and then that bait falls to the bottom and fish will eat it off. I like it maybe within a foot of the bottom. When I'm doing this for like lake trout, I've definitely seen them eat baits right off the bottom, but I think if you're within like a foot of the bottom, that's a pretty good place to be. All right.
Whoa.
That was me, that was me, that was me.
Oh.
No, it wasn't. It was a fish. It was a fish. It was a fish. Ridiculous. I thought I just knocked it.
Yeah.
We're just getting set back up after the last one. All right. Close your bill. And once he tightens up, reel. Ooh. Nice. They can be deceiving because sometimes they just swim right at the hole. Okay, yeah, that's nice.
Nice.
So we were fishing with, so that's a 43 heavy. That's a big rod. This is good for lake trout, good for big pike, and you got 40-pound braid on there. Because we're fishing for big fish.
Yes,
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. There's a lot of hooks there. Watch him just jump out of the hole. He's looking at us. Look at his eyes just darting. Okay, I should deal with him. All right, we got the hooks out. This is a fat pike, not that long, but that's the right dimensions. That fish has been feeding. All right, that is definitely too big to eat. These pike get old. These pike get like 15, 20 years old. And people don't realize that. It's like, of course, you know, it makes sense logically. Eat a bigger fish, you get more meat, but those are important breeders. And yeah, like the size I kept, 28 inches, 29 inches, that's kind of the max that I would eat really. And yeah, those size fight so much, sometimes more than the bigger ones. So basically the progression for these pike is they're hanging out on these reefs, this main lake stuff. This is kind of where they stayed in the fall. As spring comes and the creeks open up, they'll go right into the shallow creeks. That's where they spawn. So there's a couple creeks in the bay here, and they'll kind of stack up right at the mouths. This is more of a mid-season pike spot, which can be a little tougher to, you know, locate them midwinter, but you kind of got to find where their forage is, right? All right, we are back in the kitchen, back at the cabin, and we got a pike to cook up. So I'm pretty excited. I think pike are just like such an underrated eating fish. Everyone thinks it's gotta be walleye, it's gotta be walleye, but I think if you'd be blindfolded, you'd probably not be able to tell the difference. And pike has some characteristics that I prefer over walleyes. Their meat's a little bit firmer. So if we're doing like a stir fry, or for like a tossed fish like we're gonna do tonight, I prefer it. So anyways, I'm gonna show you guys how to fillet a pike, and then we're gonna do a little boneless buffalo toss. All right, we got our pike sitting in the sink. First thing I like to do is kind of just split it right down the middle. So now we're gonna slab it. This is just essentially cutting down to the spine and then sliding back to the tail. Everyone's got a different way to cut pike. This is just the way I do it. So this is definitely not the only way. I did a lot of pike guiding and shore lunches up in northern Saskatchewan, and this is kind of the way that I worked best for me over the years. So next we got the ribs here, kind of the whitish. Essentially I'm just trying to scoop underneath them. So right there you're gonna see them kind of scooping underneath the ribs. They don't go all the way to the belly. I will cut a little bit more of that belly meat out yet, but I got rid of some of that belly meat. All right, so at this point, this is pretty much what you would have done on a walleye. You know, you kind of slabbed it, cut the two halves off, took the ribs out, and for walleye, that'd be basically it. But this is kind of what scares people away from pike, and this is the Y bone. So there you have the lateral line running right across. You can see it there. You can hear that? That's my finger hitting the bones. Those are the Y bones. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut down along the lateral line, and then I'm gonna cut about 1/4 inch above that. I'm gonna kind of cut it at a 45 away, because that bone kind of goes down and underneath, and that's called the Y bone, and that is the toughest part with pike. So I'm gonna kind of turn that knife sideways and run over the top of them. I'm gonna go down a little bit and then kind of scoop it down. So those two cuts are gonna meet up, and that's gonna be hopefully mostly bone that we pull out. You could basically just pull this out. As you can see, as I grab this, that's pretty much all the bones now, the Y bones. You can rip that out, cut it. Just think like chicken nugget size. All right, there we got some pike nuggets. All right, next up, we're gonna batter them up in some spicy catch and cook coating. So a lot of people think you need some sort of egg wash or flour, but really just water works fine. So we're just gonna make sure they're wet, roll them around in the batter. All right, we got a little, either you can use canola oil, vegetable oil, either works fine. Try to get that oil to like 375. Ooh, that's getting hot. That's what I like, that sizzle. Thing is, when you add fish, it'll cool down the temperature of the oil. So even if your oil is at, you know, 375 or close to 4, when you add a bunch of meat, it's just gonna cool down that oil. So keep that in mind. Look at that sizzle. That is looking good. All right, we're gonna start pulling them out. They do not take that long. All right, we're gonna go dispose of the oil, and then part 2. All right, so now we're tossing it, and you could toss this in sweet chili sauce, you could toss this in honey garlic. We are tossing it in some Frank's hot sauce with a little bit of butter, and it's like boneless buffalo wing bites. This is one of my favorite ways to eat fish. So we're gonna melt a little butter, it just helps cut some of that heat from the hot sauce. So we're gonna melt down some butter here. Now a little bit of Frank's on top. Now you add a plate full of pike. And this is where it gets kind of crazy, is the toss. All right, there you go. It's a little bit sloppy, but it's delicious, I promise. I know my dad likes spicy food too, so I think this is gonna be pretty amazing. Try a piece of fish. That's all right.
You bet.
It looks pretty good. I could eat the boneless buffalo fish every day. That's how I remember it. Guys, this is so good. If you're not eating pike, you're absolutely missing out on such good table fare. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, we made it back out to the spot. We're gonna key in on that 10 to 12 feet because that's where we got a lot of our strikes yesterday, a lot of our flags. So we're not gonna go super shallow anymore. Yeah, we're gonna set up some lines now, and very different weather than yesterday. We got very overcast, some snow, so hopefully that change in weather triggers the big mamas. Well, it is now noon. This is when they should start biting. Noon till 2. They're on the same feeding schedule as yesterday. But yeah, fish are so weird. It can change so much day to day. That's what I love about fishing, is that it's so unpredictable. Yeah, definitely very different weather than yesterday. So we'll see. Got 4 big, beautiful baits soaking anywhere from 16 to 11 feet of water. Changing weather, we got some sunshine coming. It's blinding me. But honestly, sometimes it gets cloudy, gets clear, gets sunny. Any change can get them feeding. They're sitting on this reef. They're just sitting there like pike, just looking around.
You're sure they haven't moved away?
Nope. No, they live here.
Looking at the underwater footage afterwards, my assumptions were correct. The pike were definitely there. They were just in a very, very negative mood. And that's how it goes sometimes. But even on the slowest of days, one bite can make it all worthwhile.
One 42-incher. Oh, yuck. Oh, yuck. I forgot that I put this in my pocket. Oh, shoot. That Cisco's been in my pocket for the past couple hours. I put my hand in and I'm like, what is wet in my pocket? Oh, yuck. Don't put Cisco's in your pockets. Flag! We got a flag! We got a flag! Okay, yeah, we got a flag. All right, we'll grab the tools. All right, we'll see if it's pulling any line. Oh yeah, there's a fish there. Wow. Just wait, he's pulling line. Oh, he's cruising. He is cruising. All right, I think you should close it. Let's just check the drag. Okay, reel. Reel, 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 reel. Nice, hooked up. Always have your release tools with you. Got a long pair of pliers. These called hookouts.
It's coming up pretty quick.
And then I got the bump board as well to measure that 41-incher. We're gonna open it. We just need positive vibes. Positive vibes.
This isn't feeling that big. Oh, now he just...
Take your time. It looks big. Okay, slow, slow. That's a huge burbot.
Oh.
Let some line out. Huge burbot.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. Look at the size of that burbot. Oh my goodness. Just keep it taut. This is probably the biggest burbot I've ever seen. Oh my goodness. This is what we were talking about as one of the possibilities. And this is a Lake of the Woods slob. Look at that thing. That is a wild, wild creature. Look at the belly. These fish, I'm told they don't have a spine and that's why they can turn themselves into a ball. But yeah, let's measure that guy. Trophy's 30 inches in Manitoba, 32 inches. You may not have gotten a master angler pike, but you got a master angler burbot. Look at that creature. You know what? Maybe not the prettiest fish, but they are so cool.
And
oh,
she goes.
Good job. That was sweet. That's what you expect in the night a little more, right at sunset, but not middle of the day like this. But my hands are cooked. Wow, that was big. That was such a football. Did you think my obsession with fishing was going to turn into this?
Oh, no, I don't know.
Because I had other fads. I was into skateboarding for a while and some sports stuff. And
Yeah, but this one ruled over everything else. I mean, this one took precedent over baseball and hockey, and baseball was just a means to get to a new lake.
yeah, so this spot, this same spot is where we skipped school on my 18th birthday. In the States, like 21 is the big year. It's the drinking age. It's in Canada, it's 18. And I turned 18 and I said, Dad, can we skip school and go fishing? And we went here.
Well, we may not have crossed the elusive 41-inch pike off the list, but we caught some nice fish and made some great memories. And we did actually finally get a pike to bite on the second day, but unfortunately, he decided to eat the camera instead of the bait.